Okay. I have had interviews with people that told me that it was recorded, and then later on they're like, oops, it wasn't recorded. So I need to make sure that this is recorded. And I'm like, so what do we do now? They're like, we have to do another one. And I'm like, nope, I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the time to do it. So I need to make sure it's recorded. Okay. All right. Okay, Paulo, thank you so much for joining me on here. Please, can you just introduce yourself to us?
I'm Paulo Yama. I'm actually Filipino-Japanese. I was born in Japan, but I mainly grew up in the Philippines and came back to Japan 3 years ago to continue my studies here. And I'm currently working as an analyst for the FinTech division of an American asset management firm.
All right. Okay. So getting into the FinTech space, when you came here, did you study something related to what you're doing now, or how were you able to get into the FinTech space?
Okay. I think, to be honest, it wasn't really my intention to pursue a career in FinTech. I've always been interested in consulting. So most of my internship experience are related to consulting. Actually, whenever during my semestral break, I would go back to the Philippines and then do some internships in consulting firms. But I always make sure that that consulting internship would somehow involve Japanese clients or Japanese employees. So I'll get to have exposure dealing with those dealing with Japanese clients, and also have an exposure to Japanese corporate culture. And then after that, I did some internship at a startup company for marketing, but which is totally unrelated to my position right now. But and then aside from that, I think when I came back to Japan, I was fluent in Japanese, but I wasn't really on par with for example, Japanese students who came back from other countries just like me, or other half Japanese people. So I had to really study a lot of Japanese when I was still in uni. And then for my current role, I actually did job hunting for almost a year. Mainly applied to if you guys know Boston Career Forum. So basically, Boston Career Forum is an event which is usually held in Boston in the US, because that event is targeting Japanese students who are studying outside of the country. But some students in Japan who have some international background would also go there. But because of the pandemic, it was all virtual. So I applied through Boston Career Forum. And then I applied to several companies. And then for my company right now, I applied for their summer analyst program, which is I think similar to other financial firms in Japan, other multinational financial firms in Japan, where you have to work for 2 to 3 months, and then depending on your performance, you'll get a job offer. And then I applied for my firm's summer analyst program, I think 2 years ago, and then I got the offer for internship, and then I did the internship last year, I think around June to August, and then luckily I got the offer. But as I mentioned, even before, I wasn't really thinking of going to FinTech. I gave up on consulting at first because I knew that it was a front office role usually if you're into consulting, so you would have to have a native Japanese level of proficiency. And then given my fluency in Japanese, I realized that it wasn't really feasible. I decided on apply for back office in the financial firms, because they tend to be more lenient in Japanese proficiency, or for example, traders, you don't need that much Japanese proficiency too. So I applied mostly for investment banks, and then some asset management firms. And then in the end, I applied for my first summer analyst program, but I got an interview for a totally different position. And then which happens to be the FinTech division of the firm. And then, and that's how I got into my current job right now.
All right. And this summer program, is it were they taking all students who applied, or did you have anything specific in your CV that you think they were looking for that made them accept you into the summer program?
So basically, summer analyst program that process is basically the same as applying for a full-time position. So you send your CV, and then you have to go around 2 to 3 rounds of interviews. and then at the end you'll get an offer. But I think for my firm, because most of the students they take in are usually returnees, like they spent few years abroad studying, or they graduated from unis abroad, or they're graduates of local universities, but they can speak English and Japanese fluently. And for the CV, I think they would expect you to have some kind of internship. Like at least for my division, they like most of the interns have like prior internship experience, and then especially in the investment side, they would expect you to have at least a long-term internship with a financial firm. It doesn't have to be a big one. It can be like a boutique, for example, investment bank or asset management firm. As long as you can showcase that you're interested in finance and you're not just applying for finance just because it's like because of the prestige or something, or like you just need to show off that you're actually into finance, I guess.
And at the you said Boston Career
Forum. Yeah.
Okay, Boston Career Forum. So this opens up what time of the year, and when can students start applying?
Wait. If I remember it correctly, I think it's around November. But due to the pandemic, it's been held online for the last 2 years, I think. And then it usually starts from like the event itself is on November, but you would have to apply before the main event. So the application usually starts around August to September. And then you would see that on their website, and then you have like multiple companies like accepting applications from different students. And then I think that's about it for Boston Career Forum. Yeah.
And your application is done in English or in Japanese?
It depends on the company. Like application in terms of like the documents you have to submit, or like the interviews.
Like the process. First of all, submitting the documents. The documents are in whatever language, or even the website itself. Is it all in English? Like how does the interface look like?
Yeah, so the website is available both in Japanese and English, but some companies, the application process would be Japanese, some companies would be in English. But it's usually a mix of both, because the talent they're looking for are like really bilingual students. So but some of the companies you would have to like write an essay. It's not really an essay. It's more like they're gonna. You have to answer a specific question, and then you have to answer it in a written format. And then, and then I was gonna say something, but I forgot. So let's just go back there once I remember.
So, what do you think it takes to get into the fintech space? Is it just show that you have some interest in finance or whatever? Like, what does it take to get in there?
I think like it's hard to like pinpoint specific things that you need, but like definitely you need, if you're going to fintech, you need to have some sort of a background, at least in coding, like at least show that you're not afraid of doing some dealing with programming languages. And then you have some background in finance. It can be like you can just say you were part of a finance circle in your university or like student organization. And then for coding, it can be just like, you took these classes where you learned programming. And then, you can just add these things on your resume. Like if you know how to do like regression analysis, data science, those things, that's going to be a really good advantage. Like, I guess like it's I'm not going to lie, it's going to be really hard for some people who don't have like prior experience or background. So you have to really prepare like years in advance for that. Like, I guess when you're in uni, just make sure that you take like courses that would be actually beneficial for you once you start doing job hunting. So that's one thing that I actually was focusing on when I was in uni. Like I made sure to take all the like econometrics classes or like programming classes where I can actually like learn new hard skills.
So if you were to redo your application process to this to all the firms that you applied to before you got your job and everything, what are some of the things that you learned along the way that people can learn from you? Like, what tips can you share with students who will be thinking about maybe just applying to the Boston Career Forum, or maybe getting into the fintech space? What did you learn?
Okay, I think one of my regrets is that I didn't do an internship that is related to finance. So like maybe that was the reason why I wasn't even considered for like an investment related position. So I would definitely do that when I was still in uni. Like I think I was one bad thing I one bad mindset I had while I was in uni is that all my internships have to be with like big firms, you know, like I just realized now, like looking back, what's important is that you get the skill and then you can tell your experience to the interviewer during the application process. Like as long as you have something related to finance, really, you can just they'll give you an interview. So I wish I actually did that before, like because my prior internships are all related to consulting. So I mean it helps, but I think like when you're answering like technical questions related to finance, it's better to, you know, just have like prior internship experience in finance. And then I guess another thing you need to make sure of is to constantly, you know, watch the news, read newspapers, and then make sure you're up to date with the financial markets.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Paulo, for sharing your experience with me.
No worries, no worries.
All right.